Hello. So, we're going to talk about time management, particularly block scheduling. So, this is something that I use that's helpful for me because we all only have 24 hours a day. And yet, if you're like me, you've got a lot to do. And one of the lies that sort of keeps floating in my head is that I don't have enough time. And it's true, there's some truth to that. I don't have enough time to do everything, but I do have enough time to get done what needs to be done. And doing block scheduling helps me to say yes to the really important things in my life and no to the things that have to go to the wayside because there are only 24 hours a day and there are only 7 days a week. Um, so I use Google Calendar. That helps me. But I have a long to-do list for work and a really long to-do list for my personal life as well. And that list never ends. There's always stuff that gets added to that list. And if I look at that list, I can get overwhelmed and sort of stuck and end up doing nothing. So block scheduling helps me. A lot of times I don't have time to get everything done that I want to get done in a day, and I never can get done everything on my list. There's just not enough time. But what I can do is absolutely make progress and make time. So, what I want you to do is pull out a sheet of paper and just write out on the top of it Monday through Sunday. And then, whatever time you like to wake up, realistically, down the side of it, just start putting when you like to wake up. So I've got up here 6 a.m. And it goes all the way down to 10 p.m., but you can't see that on there. So just start sort of writing out the hours. And the first thing that you'll see on my calendar is hike on Sunday. So we have work to do. We have personal chores we have to do. We have appointments we have to keep. But we also have to take good care of ourselves. So, whatever it is that you like to do, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, you have to actually schedule it to make time for it. Because otherwise, if you're like me, um, just the week will go by and I won't get around to doing the things that I really enjoy. And hiking is one of those things that I really enjoy, hiking and kayaking. So, what I found is that if I put it down on my calendar, because I particularly like to hike in the fall, like October when the leaves are changing, that's my favorite time to hike. And then, particularly in April when the wildflowers are out. And for years, I would have the intention of going hiking during the wildflower season. But sure enough, what would happen, somebody would invite me to do something else or a birthday party or something would come up. And before I knew it, it was May and I had missed wildflowers. So what I finally learned to do was just to go ahead and on my calendar, block out like those 3 weekends and just block them out and say wildflower hiking, maybe some camping, as well. And even if the weather was nasty, it was on my calendar and it was saved. So when somebody would say, can you go out to dinner Saturday or whatever, I would look at my calendar and be like, oh, no, I've got plans. Because that was the truth. I had plans. And so that helped me to save space for the things that were important to me, things I really enjoyed, and to take breaks. So taking breaks is another thing you want to make sure to schedule because otherwise you can just work all day or you can play all day and get no work done. So we got to find that balance between work and play. You definitely need play in your life. So schedule some play in there, but you also got to get your work done and your studying done. So another thing that really helps me in life is to schedule retreat. So I sort of stuck it over here just to remind me to tell you about it. But usually it's a whole weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So twice a year, I make time for retreat. And I found that if I do that at least twice a year, it really helps me to keep my sanity. And that's a good balance for me. So another thing is scheduling time with friends. Because we want to work, we want to get our chores done at home, those things that need to be done, like grocery shopping, all that stuff that just has to get done. But we've got to make some time to be with people, the people that we enjoy. So on my schedule is just lunch with friends on Friday. And so it didn't have to be that exact time, but that's just a little reminder for me to make sure and schedule a little time with my friends. It might be a whole hour, it might be a couple hours on a Friday, depending on what my schedule is. But it was just a little reminder that I need to text or call somebody and see if I can have lunch with a friend that day. Okay. And we've got to make time to eat. So as you're writing out your schedule, make sure that you've got time to eat. And if you're cooking, that takes longer. So schedule that in there. And that's going to help you. So just putting down everything on your schedule. For instance, I have a Dr. Rex class, I have a writing class, an English class. So the first thing to do is just put down all those things that can't change. So the class times, those are not going to change. So put those all on your schedule. And then if there's anything else that is sort of written in stone in your life, maybe there's a weekly appointment that you always have. So maybe put that down. So the things in your schedule that can't change, for instance, when I have Dr. Rex's class, that doesn't change. That's sort of written in stone. So put those things down your schedule. And then be realistic. Like, when do you wake up? Not when you want to wake up, but maybe when do you actually wake up? For me, what helps me keep my sanity and to have good relationships in my life is meditating and working out and walking. And if I'm not careful, it'll get dark and I won't have done any of that. So by putting it on my schedule, even if it doesn't happen, at least just that intention that the first thing I'm going to do in the morning is meditate and work out. And then for me, that's getting ready and breakfast. For the way my brain is wired, I need to do concentrating stuff like spreadsheets and things like that, writing emails. I need to do that as early in the morning as possible. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've sort of got those down there. I put lunch in there because you've got to make time to take a break and eat. And, I've got dinner on there. And then another thing that really works well for me is walking. So I've made sure to schedule that in there. And then I've got some nice blank spaces. And life happens, right? So it's good to have some blank spaces in your calendar. You need to put in some study time. Whatever it is that's important to you, put it in your schedule. And what this helped me to do, like for instance, I've got emails on there from 9 to 10. Sometimes it only takes 5 minutes to go through my emails, and that's great. And then other times it takes 2 hours, but I don't have 2 hours to do that. So at least I've scheduled an hour and I can respond to emails, I can write emails, whatever I need to do. And at least for that hour, I'll get as much done as possible. So there's other times that I've got to write a paper or something like that. And so even if I only got an hour and a half, I'll schedule that for an hour and a half. I know that I won't get it done, but at least I've made an hour and a half's worth of progress. And then I know I just have to move on to the next thing on my list. So this is just one way to help manage your time. And then it's a lot easier to say yes to some things and no. Okay. So for you guys, you want to make sure to put in some study time in there. It's not enough just to go to class. You need to actually block out some time on your schedule to study for those classes. And then you've got free time. So that's free time is for doing other things that you enjoy. Things outside, things with friends and family. But try the block scheduling out and see if that helps you to get a little more done, and then also to feel like you're really off work in your free time. And that's what helped me, because otherwise with my work to-do list, I could just work right from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, and there was never any time to rest or play. And so by just block scheduling, like this is the hours I'm working, and then I know that the rest of the time I'm off, and I can turn off my work brain and play and enjoy my friends and my family, enjoy being at home, enjoy the garden or whatever it is. But anyway, try block scheduling, see if it works for you. And it might just be a good way to figure out like, okay, I don't have time to do that. or I've got to take something off my plate. Maybe I can't take 7 classes a semester. Maybe I only need to take 5. But give it a try, and it'll help give you a picture, a visual image of what's realistic. What do you really have time to do, and what do you not have time to do? What's important, and making sure that you schedule time for those important things. And taking care of yourself is an important thing. So resting, playing, being outside, walking, exercising, whatever those things are for you, schedule them. Take care.